Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to today's show of
Art makes smart.
It's the 20th of August, and today we're gonna talk about Impressionism.
Oh, well, tell me, what do you know about Impressionism?
Well, Impressionism is a style, a movement um, of the 1860s, and comes from France, actually. You know, where they eat a lot of cheese and wine.
Ooh la la. Hey, but correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't Impressionism characterized by a concern with despising the visual impression of the moment, especially in terms of color and light?
That's right, Jorge.
Huh. Okay, and by any chance, do you know the main artists or painters of this movement called Impressionism?
Well, I know a few ones. For instance, we have Claude Monet,
Oh, yeah.
really cool one, and also Edgar Degas, Pierre-Augustin Renoir, and of course Edouard Manet.
Okay, and which artists are we gonna talk on today's show?
Well, let me have a look.
Huh.
Ah,
Edouard Manet!
Manet!
Yes, sir, we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about Edouard Manet.
Well, if you didn't know, Edouard Manet was born in 1832 in Saint-Germain,
In France. And what can you say about his early life?
Well, Edouard Manet was a really bad student in school.
But, if I'm correct, he was, as some people say, he was too cool for school.
But Edouard Manet was pretty popular at school though, because he drew some cartoons of his friends.
Cartoons like this?
And which girl wouldn't like that?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but other of his hobbies were going to the Louvre Museum to copycat the paintings that were exposed in the museum, right?
Yes. So we can say that he knew from the beginning, from his youngling age, what was his passion.
And it's in 1848 that he started receiving painting education through 6 years with his maestros.
Whoa, this must given him a big portfolio in these years.
Well, not really. Uh, Unfortunately, he didn't keep any of his paintings because he wasn't happy with them and he would just destroy them.
But who would like Edouard Manet's work?
Well, the people that didn't like his work were the King of Arts.
King of art?
Yeah, well, the King of Art is the name that the French Academy received because they were the judges of what was cool and what wasn't cool. And do you know why they didn't like his artwork?
Well, I don't know, but let's analyze it.
Sure.
Alright. So, if we have a closer look to his first findings we can see that firstly, two of them were accepted by the Academy, but they were a bit more conservative. But then, the first one he really sent it in, The Absent Drinker, one of his really famous work, was rejected because it was too modern. And he depicted a motive that this Academy didn't like.
What a beautiful piece of art.
Yeah. Also, it had another problem with his piece called Olympia. This one was really crazy and had like a big impact and a lot of criticism because of nudity.
Exactly. That was other of of the reason that people didn't like Manet's painting. He usually portrayed nude women.
But what's wrong with that?
Well,
Wasn't impressionism about depicting day-to-day life?
well, people were freaked out because nudity was portrayed usually related to goddess or mythology. And another fact to mention was that the way that Manet portrayed the woman makes an effect that it's looking at you in a provocatively way.
Well, now that you mention it, I think I've seen a similar piece.
Similar piece. Let's think.
Um, Actually, it's the Olympia is really similar to the Venus of Urbino made by Titian.
The Venus of Urbino by Titian? Well, it is very funny that you mention it because people that have studied Manet know that he was inspired by his artwork. And also, the composition wasn't his forte of Manet, so he just copycat the composition of this piece of art. Let's see both pieces together and let's compare the elements that are surround this piece of art.
As we also mentioned earlier, one of his hobbies was to copy art from others. So here you can see it again, I guess.
Let's see our next painting.
What's so special about this one?
The breakfast on the grass. Just think about you would have been born 150 years ago. Then seeing a naked woman together with the Titan men would blow your mind. Also, she's looking pretty provocative to us.
I think we saw this before. So the presence of nudity and people watching was a common thing in his painting, right?
Yeah, we can also see the presence of nudity and the aesthetics in other paintings. In other works, like,
The beer blonde with the beer breasts.
sure, that one.
But correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he continue painting with his style?
Let's remember that Manet was too cool for school.
And as the salon was not cool at all, Manet just did his own thing.
And thanks to that, we have another beautiful art piece by Manet called
Lila blanc dans le vase vert.
Um, well, not really. We will observe Chez la Paille la Tuile.
Oh, we will go through the scenes of Paris that I liked. I have a good one.
Yes, as you know, he liked to paint urban areas, and another beautiful example of this is La Rue Monsieur with flats.
Well, that's really nice, but I thought that Manet was known as a master of black.
Well, we can see this painting named Moonlight.
Oh yeah. And also, the painting of Bertrand Rousseau shows here the contrast we have. So you can see how the dark color and the contrast are working together pretty well. He really knew what he was doing.
Well, and he was also known by his painting style à la prime.
A la prima? What does this mean?
Yeah, à la prima refers to the technique of painting all at once.
Oh yeah, I remember now. A la prima is very characteristic for impressionists.
Well, now that we have finished today's show, let's see the job of other impressionists.
Okay, well, let's see what as a impressionist looks like and see by the impression by Monet and C'est de Sœur by Renoir.
You know, Manet thought that Renoir and Monet were too extreme.
Well, it's funny because Manet never wanted to call himself impressionist because He wanted to enter into the French Academy because it was somehow a bit cool. And as the Impressionists were anti-art community in this time a bit, and they weren't cool enough for the French Academy, he didn't want to belong really to them.
So, in conclusion, what can we say about Edouard Manet?
Manet was a guy that was way up ahead his time because he had a new painting style, new motives that influenced the whole Impressionistic movement.
Wow. So, in conclusion, go check him out and remember, art makes smart.